wear the headscarf. In fact, probably many of them don't wear the headscarf when it's mandated that we should out of modesty. But a lot of times the girls will go home and say, hey, Mom and Dad, I want to start wearing the headscarf to school. And the parents are sometimes very concerned. They're worried about discrimination or their kids being called terrorists or that somehow something might happen at school where they would get hurt. So occasionally the women have to, within their own Muslim families, really push the acceptance within the family to wear the headscarf. Other families encourage and support their daughters and wives and mothers and things like that in wearing the headscarf. But it's something that we do out of modesty because God asked us to. Now, I have to tell you, I grew up in the Christian church here in Tulsa. Okay. And I went down a couple of years ago to this church in downtown Tulsa, and we went in the basement, and there was an event going on there, and I looked at some pictures, and here were the women from the church that I grew up in the 1950s, and they were all wearing the headscarf to service. So they had on their outfits with the headscarf in the 1950s. So this is something that Christian women practiced, Muslim women are still practicing, and you still see Christian women in certain parts of the world wearing the headscarf. In Turkey, we saw, when we went over there, we saw women wearing the headscarf. In some places in the Catholic Church in the East Coast of the United States, you'll see Christian women still wearing it. So it's an act of modesty. It's also to protect us from evil or maybe unwanted advances. And we don't wear it all the time either. At home, when we're around our family and aunts and uncles and stuff like that, then we don't wear it. We just wear it when we go out and we're in public.
But you're right when you mention, in the global context, there have been times when the headscarf was used as a political tool. What we see very often is people coming from some of those countries walk away from the formal religion to save their souls.
Yes.
I mean, basically, it's been dictated to them by outsiders when in Islam, our religion is the relationship between the soul and its creator directly. And we have the Quran to base our information on and our decisions on. But it's our decision for each one of these things. Now, one of the things that we saw in the Gallup poll, I think you have the Inside Islam
I do. This one right here.
Inside Islam was a collection of data that was collected over 6 years by Gallup poll, a very respected organization, and they interviewed Muslims of many, many countries on several issues, one of which was women. And when they talked with women about the headscarf, the response from the women themselves was, most of them perceive it as religiously mandated. Now, I hear in the newspaper from other non-Muslim people that it's not a part of the religion, it's culture, it's this, it's that. Well, your belief is what you think it is. When I read the Quran, I think it's telling me to dress this way. And when I look at the most religious, most closest to God of all religious women, I look at Mary, mother of Jesus. And she would always dress modestly. I never saw a picture of her with her hair flowing and in sexy clothes. I just never saw it. Maybe others have. But when we look at people who are close to God, she's the woman we believe is closest to God. So to emulate her dress,